Right, let's look at customer lifetime value, or sometimes called lifetime customer value. So you see the abbreviation CLV and LCV, they mean exactly the same thing. So what is customer lifetime value? So it's basically a measure of how much a business earns from an average customer over the course of a relationship, whether that's a day, a week, a month, a year. You choose the time scale. Now, if you look online, there are probably about 5 or 6 different ways of calculating CLV. I'm going to keep it simple and just show the easiest one that works for most businesses. If you want to dive deeper into it and find some of the other ways of doing it, then by all means. So, how do we calculate it? Certainly, how do we calculate this simple version? Well, it is really quite simple. Your total sales multiplied by the sales volume per time period, i.e., the amount of purchases that they do in that time period, multiplied by that time period, and then you add in any other income such as referrals, affiliates, that kind of thing. That is how you get your customer lifetime value. Let's look at an example to actually put some context on this. So let's say you are a digital marketing agency. You're charging $2,400 a month. People obviously only pay once a month. And let's say your average customer stays around for 5 months. Plus, they give you $231 on average of referrals for other people to come to your agency. Your CLV would be $12,231. Really simple. And when we look at customer lifetime value, I want you to think about this as a bell curve. As most things in life, they operate on a bell curve. So you'll have the people on the left of this curve. These are the people that are not really going to make you a lot of money. They're inactive, they're non-profitable. They kind of sort of dip their toe and then they disappear. Most people are in the middle. They're your active, profitable customers. Those are the ones that will stay roughly that sort of 5 months or whatever it is. They're like your average person. And then at the far right of the scale, you've got your proactive, very profitable customers. These are the people that normally pay more and they want more of your product or service, or the people that stay around for years, or a combination of both. They pay extra and they stay around for a long time. So we want to err on the right-hand side of this graph rather than the left-hand side of the graph. So why is it important? So I would argue that this is probably the most important metric to track. And the reason being is it dictates everything else that you do in your marketing. The main one is your maximum cost per acquisition. So this is the maximum that you can spend per customer to acquire them as a customer. With this knowledge, it allows you to use data to basically run your marketing and your sales a lot more efficiently and a lot better. It also allows you to forecast into the future with a degree of precision. It's not perfect, but it's a really good metric to sort of hang your hat on once you've got a good 6 to 12 months of this data. And what it does is it allows you to highlight where you're getting churn and what your churn rate is and see what your retention is. This is super important, and I'll explain this over the next few slides why. If you can get your head around churn and why it's important and why retention is probably one of the most important things that you need to focus on. If you can get your head around that, your business will be profitable and you'll increase your profit by up to 200% just by understanding this. And this is where CLV comes in. And when you have this information, you put it all together, it allows you to outspend your competitors and steal all their customers ethically and with minimal effort. I want you to quick look at this graph, and this is the customer churn rate on average per industry. Now, this was taken from Statista. If you've ever been to that website, it's literally just statistics. So you can see it's roughly, for most industries, it's roughly around about 20 to 25%. So why is this important? I want you to look at this. Now, don't look at the absolute figures that are in here. I've just put some figures in here based on an average customer and what they spend. Your business might be completely different. Your average client might bring you $100. I think this was based on $4,000. But don't worry about it. All I want you to do is look and understand the concept and the trends. I've put LCV in here. That's lifetime customer value. Customer lifetime value, exactly the same thing, just interchangeable. So if we assume you've got the industry average of 20% churn rate, that massively limits what you can earn as your maximum yearly revenue. This is why understanding churn rate and understanding the relationship that it has for your business, why it's so important, because it severely limits the amount of money you can earn on your business. So let's put some figures on this so it makes more sense. So this is the amount of profit that you can make based on the individual churn rates. Now, this is a customer that is earning you exactly the same amount of money. The only variable that's changing here is the churn rate. So if you can improve churn rate by 5%, you'll increase your profit by roughly 25%. To go from 15, 10%, you can see you're giving yourself an extra almost $2 million in profit. And if you go from 10% to 5%, you're giving yourself, what's that, almost another $6 million of profit. These numbers are not made up. These numbers are not like pie in the sky. This is what happens with your churn rate. So what does that mean in terms of percentage? So if you decrease your churn from 20% just to 15%, you will increase profit by 30%. I'm going to say that again, and I want you just to stop and think about this just for a second. If you can decrease your churn rate from 20% to 15%, you will increase your profit by 30%. You can decrease churn by 10% from your 20%, you will increase profit by 49%. And that's from 15% to 10%. That will increase your profit by 49%. If you can decrease your churn rate from 10% to 5%, you will increase your profit by 91%. Let's look at this big picture now. If you can decrease your churn rate from 20% down to 5%, your profit will increase 269%. Stop and think about that and re-listen to what I've just said there. If you can decrease your churn rate from 20% to 5%, you will increase your profit by 269%. This is why understanding your customer lifetime value and understanding your churn rate is so important for your business. By doing nothing else, you can increase your profit by almost 70% just by decreasing your churn rate. Hopefully that point has really hit home and you can understand just how important churn rate is to the relationship with your profit or your business. Right, so let's look at how much is too much to acquire a customer. Would you pay $1 per click if you were running ads? What about $5, $50, $200 per click? Let's take this a step further. What if you had a 20% conversion rate on that? Would that change things for you? Would you change where your line is about how much you pay per click? Hopefully between the two of these, you've got some ideas. Most of you, I hope, we're sort of thinking $200 per click. That's insanity. So let's look at this. I'm going to give you an example here of how understanding customer lifetime value and how you can ethically steal your competitors' customers just by understanding your customer lifetime value. So let's assume you're both spending $20,000 per year on ads. Your competitor here, Acme Widget Company, they're not very good. They don't want to spend too much per click. They want to just keep their clicks around about $5. So they're not getting super targeted. They're kind of going generic. So they get 4,000 clicks and they're happy with that. You, on the other hand, want to be super targeted. You're really drilling this down, like super laser focused. It's costing you $50 for each of those clicks. However, your competitor here, because they're getting so many clicks, they're not getting a great amount of conversions because it's not really targeted. It's kind of generic and wishy-washy. But they're only getting 40 leads because they're getting a 1% conversion rate. You, on the other hand, you're getting a 15% conversion rate because it's laser focused, exactly who your dream client is. So you managed to get 60 leads. But what? Well, the amount of clients that you're going to get that, assuming you both got a 20% conversion rate, so you're really good at converting, both of you. So out of all those leads, 20% of those will convert. You're going to end up with 4 more clients. And if we assume that each client is going to bring you in a certain amount of business, and we assume it's $5,000 per client, Acme Widgets here is going to get $40,000 of business. You're going to get $60,000 of business. So what? You're getting your competitor is getting 2 times return on their ad spend. You are getting 3 times return on your ad spend. So it's costing them $2,500 per new customer. It's costing you $1,666. Oh, interesting, right? So what does that mean? Well, if we take all this into account now and we look at customer lifetime value, as I said, there are different ways that you can generate additional lifetime value with a customer. And one of the easiest ways, referrals. So let's look at this solely from a referral point of view. Now, your competitor, they're just churn and burn. They are quite happy just to throw money at problems. They've not thought about referrals. They basically don't want to give away money to anyone else. So their referral rate, let's assume, is 5%, which I think is quite optimistic, but let's assume it's 5%. That means every year, because they've got 96 clients a year, they're going to get an extra 5 clients, which is going to bring them in an extra $25,000 a year. You, on the other hand, you're smart. You understand customer lifetime value. So you've got great follow-up. You've got a great referral program, and you say to your current clients, I'd really love it if you could refer people, and we will give you a commission. So 25% of your clients, of which there are 144, will refer you a new business. That's 35 extra clients you've now got for free or pretty much nothing, which is an extra $175,000 extra per year that have cost you next to nothing, or they have cost you absolutely nothing if your clients are just so happy to refer people. Now, this is where the customer lifetime value really comes in. Let's look at how this works out in the end. So your customer lifetime value, if we assume your competitor here, they make $480,000 based off their 96 clients, plus they get $25,000 of referral fee. So that means $505,000 divided by their 96. That's what their lifetime customer value is. Not that great, is it? You, on the other hand, you're smart. You're a lot smarter. You're getting $720,000 of business originally, plus you're getting an extra $175,000 in referral fees, which means your lifetime customer value is $6,215. That means that your client, assuming your competitor, assuming you weren't going to make any profit here, they can spend a maximum of $5,260 to acquire each client just to break even. So what does that mean for you? If you wanted to just break even, you could spend $6,215 per client. So you could spend an extra $1,000 to acquire each new customer. So that means if your competitor can only spend $5,260, you can spend on ads, let's assume $5,260. That means every single client that comes in for you, you're making $1,000 on, and you're outspending your competitor, because they cannot spend any more money, because they do not have the ability to do it, because they're not earning enough per client, because they don't understand the value of customer lifetime value. You do, which means you can ethically steal every single one of their clients because they can't spend any more money. You can run more ads, you can run more, you can do a lot more marketing because you've got that extra $1,000 that you can actually get back as profit versus what your competitor can do. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know. This concept is huge. If you know this at the start, you know what you can spend to acquire a customer, and you know what you can do further down the line and how you can outspend all your competitors. Whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. And that is where this comes from. So how can you increase customer lifetime value? So I did hit on one of them, but we'll go through a few other ones here. So big one is improve the customer experience. If customers have a crappy experience, they're going to move on. If they have a great experience, they're going to stay a lot longer. Simple as that. Engage with your customers. Speak to them. Have engagement with them, whether it's on social media, whether that's giving them a call, whether that's sending them an email, whether that's just getting on the phone with them. How are things going? Really simple things go a long way. Loyalty programs. So we've all seen these in coffee shops. You buy 9 coffees, you get the 10th free, and they've just got a little card that they stamp. Really simple, but those work because it keeps people coming back to you rather than going to one of your competitors. And rewards and special deals. This makes sense. We've all had that special deal because you happen to be a client. It's 10% off. Or as soon as you've bought so many, or you've been a customer for a year, we're going to give you this. Or we're going to give you first look at this new product, service. Whatever it is that we've got, you're first in line for it. So there's loads of things that you can do there. One of the easiest ways is probably increase the average order value. So let's keep this simple for the math here. Let's assume your average order value is $1,000. You can increase it by $100. You're automatically going to get 10% increase on the amount of money that you get in. Your revenue will go up 10%. Well, how do we do that? We can upsell them something else. So if you've got a product and then you've got a premium product that you can upsell them with, then do that. If there's something that you can cross-sell. So let's say, for example, you're a plumber. You've got someone that's called you out because they've got a burst pipe. You go out to their house and then you can say, look, this costs you $800. What we actually have is we've got a monthly service where we charge you $25 a month. And then if anything comes up, there's no call out fee. And we will come out, there will be no call out fee for it. You also get 10% off the bill. If you do that to 1,000 people, $20 a month, that's an extra $20,000 you're getting for free. You work that out over 1,000 customers. How many of them are going to call you every single month? Probably not many. Let's say it's 1%. So you've made $20,000. 1% of your clients are going to call you every month, which is 10 people. Your call out fee, let's be extravagant. Let's say it's $1,000 for your call out fee. That would be $10,000. It means you've made every single month $10,000 extra for nothing, no effort, cost you nothing. They're literally, you're getting free money for that. So that's what a cross sell would be. That would be something. Real simple way to increase average order value, increase your prices. As I've said, if it costs $1,000, put it up to $1,100. If you increase 10%, you'll get 10% more coming in. Offer multiples of your product. Clearly, this doesn't work with the plumber. I'll give you a really good story about this. There's an e-commerce, I guess you could call him one of the big names in e-commerce, Trey Llewellyn. He had a company where he was selling flashlights online. He had, I can't remember how many it was. I think it was a couple of thousand of these left and he just couldn't sell them. So he basically said to one of his staff, as he was going out the door, look, can you just put something online to sell these and offer people multiples? I just want rid of them. Just sell them fairly cheap, 50% more than what we paid for them, and we'll see what happens. So because he didn't give a great brief, staff member then went in, created a web page that said, we'll sell you one of these, or you can buy 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. Now, what they found out completely by accident was when they offered these, people bought 1, they bought 2, or the next multiple that they bought was 9. So people were buying 9 flashlights because they were getting a discount. And the reason they were buying these 9 flashlights, just remove that notification. The reason they were buying 9 of these flashlights is they were giving them to other people. So he was able to sell a lot more of these. And because there was 9 of them and it was one person, shipping didn't go up much, but the amount of them that they were selling, the amount of profit that they made was huge off the back of it. So selling multiples of a product sometimes could be a really easy way to increase your average order value because there's always somebody that's that motivated buyer that just wants to buy. And they ended up, Trey Llewellyn ended up with his company. Within 6 weeks, it went from 0 It's over $1 million just selling flashlights by doing this. So offering multiples can be really, really lucrative if your product or service lends itself to that. Subscriptions. We've all seen this, especially with things like software. Amazon does this as well. So if you're buying something like, let's say, toothpaste, every month you're going to need more toothpaste, or every 2 months, whatever. So it offers you for 5% discount if you buy this on a subscription, then you'll get a discount. If you're buying it anyway, it makes sense. But what it means is people will stay with you and they're buying from you, not your competitor. So that can be a really good one. And then obviously offer discounts or free gifts on people who are buying multiples or on large orders. So the flashlights is a really good example of that. You would get a 20% discount if you bought 9 of these. So you get a really good discount as the consumer, but for you as the seller, you get a really good profit margin on that. So next one is easy purchasing and onboarding. Amazon do this really well. They've got one-click ordering. So you want something, you click, and then 2 hours later, if you live in a big city, it arrives on your doorstep. That is great when you look at purchasing from Amazon. It's absolutely seamless. Obviously, your business, your service, your product might not lend itself to that, but what you will have is some sort of onboarding process. Even if you look at like a plumber with someone who's got a burst pipe, there's an onboarding process there, even though it's very simple. It's literally, what's your name, your number, your address, and can we get your credit card? That's fine, but you can make that seamless rather than making it really painful that's got 100 steps. So if you can take away all the friction for a client or a customer, that will really help with the onboarding process. You've all been to web pages where you're buying something really simple that's maybe $10, but they ask you for thousands of pieces of information, like your name, your address, your phone number, where you find out information about them. Do you want us to text you, message you, email you? What you want to do is make that as seamless as you can. Once they bought off you, then you can ask them all these additional questions if you want. So encourage feedback. This is one that very few people want because they don't want to hear bad news. My dad was involved in sales for nearly 40 years, and he always has emphasized to me that one of your best customers or clients or accounts can be the person that had the biggest problem to begin with. And the reason being is, if you have someone that's really got a huge problem they want to cancel, and you turn that around and you fix the problem for them, and you maybe give them a discount or you give them extra value to begin with to get over that problem, they can become one of your greatest assets, one of your greatest referrals, and one of your greatest longest term clients. And that's certainly what my dad had found, that some of his most sticky clients have been the ones that have been the biggest problem initially, but he solved that problem and then they stay forever. So always ask for feedback, always find out what your clients want, what they don't like, what they do like, and that will help you. And obviously, improve customer service. We've all been involved with a company where the customer service has been horrendous. Guess what happens? People don't stay around. You've all done it where you've got on that call center, you're there for 3 hours, you can't get through, you've got the horrific music. Well, guess what you do? You cancel. I don't want to be with that company. So don't be that company. And finally, the ones that I've touched on is the referral or affiliate program. If your average customer, your cost of acquisition per customer is $200, and you can pay one of your existing clients $100 to give you new business, someone comes along, it makes absolutely perfect sense. That $100 is saving you 50% of your ad costs, but you're still getting the client, and it saves you the hassle, the effort, the time. Employing someone to try and run ads for you is done for you, because some of your greatest salespeople are going to be someone who's bought your product and they're happy with it. So encourage people to do that and pay them commission. So that is all done. The key takeaway I want you to take from this is customer lifetime value is probably the most essential metric that you can track if you want to beat your competitors and you want to increase profit and decrease costs. So work it out, understand it every single day, track it, and make sure that you're following it, and use this going forward to help you increase profits and revenue, because it's a real simple one to track, but it makes a huge difference, especially when you look at something like churn rate. So hopefully that's been helpful. You can let me know if this worked for you and if this is helpful. If you've got any success stories, let me know.